Hotep Congo Nation, I'm Sister Johnson and welcome to our Seshet lesson. Today is Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. I want to begin by shouting out one of our mighty scholars. This scholar is Sister Olivia. And Sister Olivia, I want to say thank you for joining me on Friday for an independent or reteach lesson. I had a really good time learning with you, and I just thank you for continuing to be a mighty learner. Now, scholars, I would like to do a do now to begin our Seshet lesson. On Thursday, we learned about Benjamin Banneker. We learned that he created a wooden clock. So now we're going to take a look at 10 hours of time on Benjamin Banneker's wooden clock, and it's going to be your responsibility to write the time inside of your composition books. So go ahead, turn to a new page in your composition book. Head your paper with your first and last name, the date, 5/12/20, the subject math, and your heading is due now. Let's take a look at the clock.
Congo Nation, this is your first time. The minute hand and the hour hand are both on the 12. Please write this time down next to number 1 on your do now. Here's time number 2. Please write this time down next to number 2 of your do now. Feel free to pause the video if you need to. Here's time 3 on Benjamin Banneker's wooden clock. What time does this clock read, Congo Nation? Here's number 4. Number 5. The minute hand is on the 3. The minute hand, the hour hand is on the 3. The minute hand is on the 12. What time is this, Congo Nation? All right, we're halfway through. Here comes number 6. What time is on our wooden clock now? Number 7. Our hour hand is on the 5. Our minute hand is on the 12. What time is this? Number 8. Number 9. And for number 10, Congo Nation, our clock looks a little different. The hour hand is between the 1 and the 2, and the minute hand is on the 6. Who knows what that time is? Please write it down for number 10, and let's see who has some background knowledge on today's concept.
All right, Congo Nation, now it's time for our application problem. Let's take a look.
Congo Nation, let's reread our application problem. Moja and Billy Tattoo. Application problem. Brother Darrell has 7 digital clocks and only 2 analog clocks. How many fewer analog clocks does Brother Darrell have than digital clocks? How many clocks does he have altogether? All right, Congo Nation, so let's begin to solve. We're going to use our cube strategy and begin by circling key numbers. What's our first key number, Congo Nation? 7, very good. I'm going to go ahead and circle this 7 here. What's our next key number? 2, good job. Do we see any more key numbers, yes or no? No, very good. So that means we can move on to step 2. Step 2 is underline the question. I'm going to go ahead and look for a question mark because that's my punctuation at the end of a question. And I see two. I see a question mark here, and I see a question mark here. So that must mean that we're going to be solving for two questions. Let's begin by underlining this first question. How is a question word, so we definitely know that's a question. How many clocks does he have altogether is our second question. Our first question also begins with how. How many fewer analog clocks does Brother Darrell have than digital clocks? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to number this one. And I'm going to number this question too. Just so we remember, we're going to be solving for two questions. Yay, Bo? My next step is B. I am going to box math action words or box keywords. Brother Darrell has 7 digital clocks and only 2 analog clocks. No math or keywords there. How many fewer analog clocks does Brother Darrell have than digital clocks? I see this word than, so I know that I am going to be comparing, right? I'm going to be comparing Brother Darrell's analog clocks with his digital clocks, which also means I'm going to have to find the difference. So I can make note that I'm going to do some subtraction. Let's look at our second question. How many clocks does he have altogether? Did you guys hear a math action word in that sentence? Yes or no? Yes, I did too. Our math action word in that question is altogether. Altogether tells me that I'm going to be doing some addition. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation, let's get started. Our first question is, how many fewer analog clocks does Brother Darrell have than digital clocks? So I have to compare those two. And of course, we've been doing this for the last few weeks. We're going to make a tape diagram. Let me grab another color. And first, I want to draw a model of Brother Darrell's digital clocks. How many digital clocks does Brother Darrell have, Congo Nation? Show me with your math fingers. Very good. He has 7. Digital clocks are in the shape of rectangles, so that's how I'm going to draw them. Let's draw our digital clocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. These are Darrell's digital clocks. I can label it with a D for digital. Yay, Bo? And then I want to make it a tape, so I want to group them together, show that they are one part by making this rectangle around them. Yay, Bo? All right, let's move on to showing Brother Darrell's analog clocks. What shape are analog clocks, Congo Nation? Very good. They are in the shape of a circle. So that's what we're going to draw to represent Brother Darrell's analog clocks. How many does he have? 2. Very good. Our other key number is 2. Let's draw Brother Darrell's analog clocks. 1, 2. If you remember to line up the 2 tapes, pat yourself on the back. Whenever we are comparing one part with another part, we want to make sure that the shapes line up together. Yay, Bo? It makes it much easier to see what the difference is. Let's go ahead and draw our rectangle around our circles and create another tape. And then I'm going to label this with an A for analog. Yay, Bo? All right, so we want to know how many fewer analog clocks Brother Darrell has than digital clocks. We're finding the difference, Congo Nation. So this digital clock lines up with this analog clock. This digital clock lines up with this analog clock. But then we see that there aren't any more analog clocks, which means that these digital clocks are our difference. I'm going to go ahead and draw my line here. And then I'm going to draw my squiggly line around the difference between the digital clocks and the analog clocks. This is going to be our answer, Yebo. So let's count them. Moja and Billy Tattoo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's the difference, Congo Nation? 5, very good. But I want to write a number sentence, okay? So our model is complete. Now let's write a number sentence. When we find the difference, what operation are we going to do? Very good, we're going to do subtraction. And I know that I had to subtract from my larger number. Which number is larger, the 7 or the 2? The 7, very good. So 7 is going to be the whole number in my subtraction number sentence. I'm going to put my minus symbol for subtraction. And then how many am I subtracting, Congo Nation? Very good. I'm going to subtract the 2 analog clocks to find the difference. And what is our answer? 5. Yebo? All right, very good. But we're not finished yet. That answered our first question, right? How many fewer analog clocks does Brother Darrell have than digital clocks? We can write our statement to the first question. Brother Darrell has 5 fewer analog clocks than digital clocks. And Congo, make sure that you're stretching your sentence along the page. All right, that answers our first question. But our second question says, how many clocks does he have altogether? Altogether tells us that we're going to be adding. What 2 numbers am I going to add, Congo Nation? And Brother O'Shea is in the background. I apologize. Very good. I'm going to add my key numbers together. My 2 key numbers are 7 and 2. Now I can draw a model. I can redraw my 7 digital clocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I draw my 2 analog clocks. 1, 2. And to find the total, what should I do, Congo Nation? Very good. I'm going to combine the 2 parts. I'm going to count them all together. Let's do it. Moja and Billy Tattoo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what is my total, Congo Nation? Very good. My total is 9. I have 9 altogether. Let's create our number sentence. So when we're solving for our total, we add part plus part, which equals our total or whole number. What is our first part? 7. Very good. What symbol do I need? A plus sign. Good job. What's my next part? 2. And then our total is what, Congo Nation? 9. Very good. So the answer to our second question is Brother Darrell has 9 clocks all together. Yabo? Yabo. Congo Nation, the next activity for our Sachette lesson is to think count. We are going to count to 20, saying multiples of 5 aloud. So I am going to point to each number on our chart. And as we point, we're going to think the number in our head and say the multiple of 5 or the circled number aloud. Yabo? Let's begin by think counting to 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. Congo, what 4 numbers did you say out loud? 5, 10, 15, 20. When we say the numbers in that sequence, we are counting by 5 or saying multiples of 5. Yabo? All right, so let's start back at 1 and then skip count by 5s to 30. Remember, you're only saying the multiples of 5 or the circled numbers out loud. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Very good. Let's skip count by 5s, Congo Nation. Moja and Billy Tattoo. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Very good, Congo Nation. This activity is going to prepare us for today's lesson, when we will have to add 5 minutes until we reach 30 minutes. Yabo? All right, let's move into our concept. Congo Nation, our concept today is to recognize halves within a circle clock and to tell time to the half hour. In our previous lesson, we read the time when we had whole hours with no extra minutes past the hour. Let's start at 12 o'clock. Where is the minute hand, Congo Nation? Very good. Our minute hand is this blue hand here, right? And where is it? It's on the 12. Good job. Let me fix it. Sorry. All right, our minute hand is on the 12. When the minute hand moves all the way around the clock, it has been 60 minutes or 1 hour. Yabo? All right, so let's move this minute hand around. So when it moves completely around the clock, it has been 60 whole minutes, which we also know as 1 hour. So as you notice, our hour hand has also moved. What time is it now, Congo Nation? Very good, it's 1 o'clock. Which clock hand do we move to show 1 o'clock? Good, we moved that hour hand, right? The hour hand is on the 1, the minute hand is on the 12, which means 1 o'clock. The hour hand is our shorter hand. Yabo? All right, Congo Nation. So now let's corally read the time as I move the minute hand all the way around the clock. Yabo? Which clock hand do we move to show it's a new hour? Very good. We move this green hour hand. Yabo? All right, Congo Nation.
So if we move the minute hand all the way around the clock for each hour, we show that by moving the hour hand to the next hour. When the minute hand makes its way around the clock once, the hour hand moves to the next hour. So let's move this minute hand again, 60 minutes or an hour around the clock. All right, Congo Nation, that minute hand moved all the way around the clock. So now we're on a new hour. What is our new time, Congo Nation? Very good. It is 2 o'clock. Remember, when this minute hand is on the 12, it represents or reads o'clock. But we always start with our hour first. So our hour is 2 o'clock. Yay, Bo? Congo Nation, let's take a look at another hour. So again, this minute hand is going to move completely around the clock. And as this minute hand moves around the clock, the hour hand begins to move as well. All right, we're back at 12. We're back at o'clock. So you notice that our hour hand goes from the 2 to what number? 3. Very good. How do we read this time, Congo Nation? Good. 3 o'clock. Now let's think about this minute hand. If we were halfway through the next hour, where do you think the hour hand would be? Okay, I heard someone say the hour hand would remain the same at the 3, but I also heard a genius say that if the minute hand is halfway through the clock, then the hour hand will be halfway through the hour. Let's take a look at how that might look. So if I move my minute hand and my hour hand is beginning to move, it looks like if we pause the time here, is my hour hand still pointing directly to the 3? Yes or no? No, it isn't. Very good. So if the minute hand moves halfway through the hour, then our hour hand is going to be in a different position too. Yay, Bo? Congo Nation, if we are halfway through the hour, then that means that starting at 3 p.m., we would have to move the hour hand halfway between the 3 and the 4. Yay, Bo? So if we're halfway through the hour, then that means this hour hand is going to be between the previous hour and the next hour. In this example, it's between the 3 and the 4. Now let's take a look at the minute hand. It will go halfway around the circle, right? Think about our half circles, like the pizza that we divided in half, or the circles that we divided into 2 halves. Where would we need to stop the minute hand so that it would travel halfway around the circle? What do you think? For us to figure this out, I am going to color over half of our clock. Yay, Bo? I will begin here at the 12, and I will color each segment until I get to halfway around our clock. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation, so I'll start at the 12 and I'll begin to color in each segment. All right, Congo Nation, stop. We have reached halfway around our circle. So which number is halfway around the clock? 6. Very good. The 6 is halfway around our clock. All right, so our magic number is the 6. If the minute hand were halfway between 1 hour to another hour, it will be pointing to the 6. We call this time half past. Can you guys say half past? Very good. So we look at this example when the hour hand is between the previous hour, 3, and the next hour, 4. We would call this time, and I'll move the minute hand where it should belong. We would call this time half past 3. Yay, Bo? The previous time started at 3 o'clock, but now we are half past 3. Let's see how many minutes are in half of the hour. We can count each minute using little marks around the hour. But since there are 5 minutes from one number to another number, we can count in groups of 5 like we did for our whisper counting. Yay, Bo? So again, between one number on the clock and the next number are 5 minutes. Therefore, as we go from each number on our clock, we can count by 5s. Congo Nation, let's skip count again. Beginning at 5. Yay, Bo? So this time represents 0, 0. So that means our number 1 is where we're going to start at 5. Yay, Bo? And as we skip count together, I'm going to write the multiples of 5 till we get to the 6. Yay, Bo? All right, so this is 0, 0, Moja and Billy Tattoo. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yay, Bo? Very similar to what we did for our skip counting earlier, right? So our multiples of 5 end at 30. Another way to say half past 3 is 3:30 because it's 3 hours and 30 minutes since 12 o'clock. 1, 2, 3 hours and 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes past 12 o'clock. So we'll write that with our hour first, 3. Then we need our colon. And our minutes are 30. Yay, Bo? 3:30. So all of these are the same time. Half past 3 is the same as 3:30, and then we have our written form, 3:30. Yay, Bo? I do want you to remember, Congo Nation, that if this minute hand is on the 6, which represents 30 minutes, that makes it halfway through our clock. Therefore, this hour hand also needs to be halfway between the previous hour and the next hour. Yay, Bo? All right, let's do some more time so that we can practice. All right, Congo, let's show this time on the clock. 11:30. We start with our hour hand. So where do I have to move our hour hand to make the time 11:30? Very good. I have to move my hour hand between the 11 and the next hour, which would be what number? 12. Very good. So my hour hand is going to be between the 11 and the 12. Yay, Bo? Where do I have to move my minute hand to show 30 minutes? What's our magic number today? 6. Very good. Remember, when the minute hand is on the 6, that reads 30 minutes. So our hour is 11, our minutes are 30. This time on our clock here is 11:30. Yay, Bo? All right, but look at this clock, Congo Nation. Look at the clock down here. What's that clock, Congo Nation? Or what's that time, Congo Nation? Very good. This clock reads 11 o'clock. What differences do you see between this clock that reads 11:30 and this clock that reads 11 o'clock? Okay, very good. The first thing that we notice is that when our time reads 11 o'clock, and I'll write that here. When our time reads 11 o'clock, our hour hand is directly on the 11. Yay, Bo? So our hour hand is directly pointing to that 11. Is that different up here on our clock that reads 11:30? Yes, it is. When our clock reads 11:30, then our hour hand is halfway between the previous hour 11 and the next hour 12. Okay, what else do we notice? Yes, that minute hand. They are in two different positions. When our clock reads 11 o'clock, our minute hand is pointing to what number? 12. Very good. 12 is o'clock. When our minute hand shows 11:30, what number is our minute hand pointing to? The 6. Very good. This shows us that the minutes are 30. We are 30 minutes past 11 o'clock. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation. Please remember that when the minute hand is on the 12, it's o'clock. And when the minute hand is on the 6, it's 30. Let's take a look at another time. Congo Nation, what is another way for us to write 11:30? Congo Nation, what is another way for us to write or say 11:30? Very good. Half past. Half past the hour, which is 11. So half past 11. Yay, Bo? And if we write it in written form, 11:30. If you with me so far, say check. All right, Congo Nation, let's take a look at a new time. All right, Congo, let's show the time 4:30 on our clock. What is our hour, Congo Nation? 4, very good. So we know that our hour hand has to be between what two hours? Good job. Our hour hand has to be between 4 and 5. Yay, Bo? All right. Our minutes are half past the hour. So that means I have to take this minute hand halfway between our clock. And we know that halfway is at what number on our clock, Congo Nation? The 6. Very good. Which also means that 30 minutes have passed. Yay, Bo? All right, so this is what 4:30 looks like on our clock. Let's write 4:30 here. And we know that 4:30 is the same as 4:30. If we write the written form, it looks like this. 4:13. Yabo? Our hour hand is between the 4 and the 5, the previous hour and the next hour. And our minute hand is on the 6, which represents 30 minutes. 4:13. Congo Nation, let's show 6:30 on our clock. All right, Congo Nation, what is our hour? Very good. Our hour is 6 o'clock. So we can put our hour hand on the 6. Right? That's the hour we're beginning at. But we know we are going halfway around the hour. So that means that my hour hand has to be between the 6 and the next hour, which is 7. So my hour hand is going to be halfway between the 6 and the 7. I want to show that 30 minutes have passed. So where should I put my minute hand? Very good. I'm going to put my minute hand on the 6, which also represents that 30 minutes have passed. Yabo? As we see, our hour hand and our minute hand are very close, because our hour hand is between the 6 and the 7, and our minute hand is on the 6, showing our time 6, what, Congo Nation? 30, very good. 6:30. Yabo? All right, the written form will be the hour first, 6:30. Our hour and our minutes, just as we read it here. All right, Congo Nation, this is the last part of our concept. So let's show 8:30 on our analog clock. Yabo? All right, Congo Nation, where do I have to move my hour hand? Very good. I'm going to move my hour hand to the 8. I'm going to start there, right? Because our hour is 8 o'clock. But I want to show that 30 minutes have passed. So what do I do to my hour hand? Very good. I move my hour hand halfway between the 8 and the next hour, which is 9 o'clock. All right, so it's halfway between the 8 and halfway between the next hour, 9. Now, I'm showing that 30 minutes have passed. So what do I have to do to my minute hand? Very good. I'm going to move my minute hand to our magic number 6, which also means 30 minutes. Yabo? Very good. So this clock shows 8:30. 8:30, or in written form, 8:30. Yabo? All right, great Congo Nation. Pay attention to our hour hand as we move around our clock. What does this represent, Congo Nation? Very good. 12:30. Always look at the previous hour. Yabo? All right, so this is 12:13. 1:30. Halfway between the 2 and the 3 is 2:30. Halfway between the 3 and the 4 is 3:30. Halfway between the 4 and the 5 is 4:30. Halfway between the 5 and the 6 is 5:30. Halfway between the 6 and the 7 is 6:30. Halfway between the 7 and the 8 is 7:30. Halfway between the 8 and the 9 is 8:30. When the hour hand is halfway between the 9 and the 10, at 9:30. When the hour is halfway between the 10 and the 11, it's 10:30. When the hour hand is halfway between the 11 and the 12, it reads 11:30. And then back to 12:30.
Congo Nation, now let's complete our problem set. Please head your paper with your first and last name, the date, 5/12/20, the subject, math, and your heading is problem set. For number 1, I would like for you to pause this video, and you're going to draw this in your composition book. You're going to draw these 3 analog clocks. So analog clock A, B, and C. And then on the other side, you're going to write these phrases or digital times. All right, so the first one says 5 o'clock. Then you'll write 12:30, 2:30, 5:30, 12 o'clock, and 2:30. When you're finished writing that and drawing those analog clocks in your composition book, you're going to match the clocks to the time on the right. Yay, Bo? So you'll take a look at the time on this analog clock in your composition book and match it with a line to its correct phrase or digital time. Then you'll do the same for B and C. Yay, Bo? For numbers 2 through 6, you're going to draw analog clocks with the following times. For number 2, draw an analog clock that reads 7 o'clock. Number 3, draw an analog clock that reads 8 o'clock. Number 4, draw an analog clock that reads 7:30. Number 5, draw an analog clock that reads 1:30. And number 6, draw an analog clock that reads 2:30. You take a look at clock A. It reads 3:30. The hour hand is between the 3 and the 4, and the minute hand is on the 6, 3:30. Clock B shows a digital clock that reads 5:30. The hour is 5 and the minutes are 30 past the hour. You are going to use clocks C through L, but number them numbers 7 through 16. Yay, Bo? So you can take a picture, or I'm sorry. You can pause the frame here, but I will also zoom in on each clock. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Number 11. Number 12. Number 13. number 14, number 15, and number 16. Remember, Congo Nation, you can rewind this video and pause it when it shows all of the clocks, or you can always pause as we look at each clock. Yabo? Congo, for numbers 17 through 20, take a look at these clocks and you're going to write the letter of the clock that shows the correct time. Yabo? All right, so number 17 is 2:30. Which clock shows 2:30? Clock A, clock B, or clock C? Please write the correct letter next to number 17. All right, number 18. The time is 10:30. Which clock shows 10:30? Clock A, clock B, or clock C? Please write down the letter. Number 19. The time is 6 o'clock. Which clock shows 6 o'clock? Clock A, B, or C? Please write the letter. And your last question for your problem set is number 20. The time is 8:30 o'clock. Which clock shows 8:30 o'clock? Clock A, B, or C? Please write the letter.